How's everybody in the chat tonight? I already have Robert up so you guys can get to look at him before we talk to him. Let me say hi to you real quick. First one's in the house with Clark's Cove Detecting. I know I said Clove. Clark's Cove Detecting. Then we got Starry's Lost and Found, Patty Disharoon, Gene P, Mark the Berg. I don't know. PA Relic Hunters. I know we got a bunch of people. Susan Toker, how are you? I'm just looking in the chat. That's what we got so far. That's cool. That's a good start. Hope you guys are all here. Tom Kingery, hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
So, this is Robert Theisen. There we go. I'm pointing the right way. He is the man behind Come Out Swinging. I know a lot of you already heard about it. I know many of you seen posts about it on plenty of groups. It's been shared a lot of places. It's an awesome event. And we will talk about that a little bit to start, but I want everybody really to get to know Robert. Do you like Robert or Rob?
Rob's good, Robert, just throw something at me when you need me.
All right. Rob, I'm just going by, because I always see your name as Robert. So I want you guys to get to know Robert Theisen, otherwise known as Rob, the man behind Come Out Swinging. And Alicia just came in. Hot Miss Fishing, how are you? So for those of people in the chat that don't already know about Come Out Swinging, can you give a little quick rundown on what Come Out Swinging is?
Yeah.
Outside of an event. Most of them know what events are.
Yeah, I'll give the 30-second, infomercial. So Come Out Swinging is a nonprofit fundraiser for the Boyertown Area Historical Society that's built around a natural hunt with a seated hunt component and then some metal detecting games that we play, over the course of 2 days. So all of the proceeds, 100% either go back into the event or directly to the Boyertown Area Historical Society to support their mission of, saving local history and sharing it with the community, which just aligns perfectly with everything that we do in the metal detecting community. And this year we got a little special event that we've added. It's the Matthew Tamani Detecting a Cure. It's a separate fundraiser that's part of the event where we'll be making a charitable contribution to Matthew's cancer cause in an effort to, support somebody who supported us through the years.
Yeah, Matt Tamani was an awesome guy. For those of you who don't know, he was Jersey Digger. He's Matty Tamani's father. A lot of you know him from his live stream on Monday nights they used to do. We unfortunately lost Matt, what, about 2.5 months ago now?
Yeah, it's been just a little bit, not that long ago. Yeah, it all happened rather quickly in the beginning of the summer.
Yeah, it did. And that's awesome that you're doing that in his memory and in his honor.
Yeah, we're glad to be able to do it. Glad that the family had the confidence in us. They attended the event. They were also supporters of the event. They would make donations. Maddie, often went out of his way to reach out and, contact us and, supported the kids' coin hunt, which is, part of our Come Out Swinging events. So we just invite kids from the community to come and learn about metal detecting and put tons of coins in the ground for them and give them prizes. And this year we got a bunch of metal detectors to raffle off for them. So we're pretty hyped up about that.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And I'm glad. Yeah, that was actually the last time I seen Matt was at the Spring Fling.
Yeah, that was the last time. That was, for a lot of people, that was the last time, unfortunately.
Yeah, I spoke to him on Facebook Messenger, really. But we called each other on Facebook Messenger. Called him probably maybe 3 weeks before he passed. I would say about that.
Okay.
So it was my last conversation with him. Yeah, he was a good dude. Hey, Marlon.
Yeah, it did a lot for the hobby.
He did. So I can't wait to actually be a part of that.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. I would say probably 60% of the people who are signed up for Come Out Swinging have signed up to do the additional Detecting a Cure fundraiser hunt for his charity. And I don't know if you've seen the post. I mean, it's on the Come Out Swinging page, but the grand prize for that is a CTX.
Wow.
So, like, whoever wins the Matthew Tamani hunt is going to be going home with a CTX. So
Well, that's really cool.
that was pretty awesome for us to be able to. We worked with Drewaholic, and he got some support from Mind Lab. We're still trying to work out some of the logistics and the details of it and all that's going to happen. But we know it's going to be a CTX, so we're pretty hyped up about that.
Well, I'm excited for whoever wins that.
Yeah,
I just want to be a part of it because it was Matt, like, and you said 60%.
Yeah, about 60% of the people who have signed up, and like a lot of people are in a position, and we get it. It's a financial commitment, right? They're paying to come to the hunt already. A lot of people travel. We get people from as far away as Utah and Texas that have come, to the events, and maybe some of them are flying in. They got to get a hotel room. They got to rent a car. There's all these added expenses, and then we say like, oh, hey, we want to add on this, this other option as a function of the event. There's an additional cost associated with that, so we understand that everybody can't do it. And some people have contacted us and said, hey, can I, register for the event now and then sign up for that later, which you absolutely can. Or you can wait till the day of the event and sign up that morning. Just walk in, scan the QR code with your phone, type in your information, and you're signed up and you're ready to go. So, we'll have plenty of options for people who want to get involved in the 11th hour to get involved in that as well.
Yes. Susan Toker said she's not able to come, but boy, she wish she could. This sounds like a friendly hunt.
I think you've captured the true spirit of Come Out Swinging, Susan. It is a friendly hunt. Like, it is just one big family. My wife always says that, like, that's my go hang out with your people weekend. It's just, these are my people. I don't care where they come from. It's just fun hanging out with them and hearing their stories and see what they find, and just sitting around and talking, and it's a great weekend. It's a lot of fun.
Gene PS, tell us when and where. Real quick, Mayor Marlon, I know you can find the link on Facebook. If you could put it in the chat, Marlon, or Team Lynch. Hello. It is, what is the 4th, 5th, and 6th, right? November?
It's the 5th and 6th. It's a Saturday, Sunday, so it's a 2-day event. Most people come into town. If they're staying, they come in on the 4th, but you're not required to. We don't make any arrangements for anybody with hotels. We kind of post a list of hotels that are available. Most are within 15 minutes, drive.
I said
it's usually like 5 miles, but 15 minutes, right? Because of back roads and things like that.
But Gene P doesn't do Facebook.
He does. It's
actually, if you email me, Gene P, I will email you a link.
Do you want me? I think I could private chat you the link to.
Yeah. All right.
You want me to do that while we're talking?
Yeah.
Actually, you want me to send you the registration link, or do you want me to send you the Facebook link?
Well, she doesn't do Facebook. Well, actually, Gene, you can still look at Facebook even though you don't do Facebook. Alley Cat says Jersey rocks. Tim rocks. Tim is Alley Cat treasures. He's an awesome dude. Yeah, if you want to, the registration link would work because she could look at that.
Yeah, I can shoot you that real quick while we're talking. Yeah, it's we're getting there, right? So our goal is always, depending on property. That's how we determine how many people we want to invite. So, we're somewhere between 70 and 80 acres. Obviously, some of that acreage is, got outbuildings and the primary residence on it, and some of it gets blocked off as out of bounds. Just because it's the homeowners. Even though it's an older farm from the 1850s, it's like mid 1800s. The homeowner's done a great job taking care of the property and modernizing it to some extent, right? So he's got a swimming pool, right? So he's like, close proximity to my house, we're going to make that out of bounds. But aside from that, we have, access to the remainder of the property, which is pretty awesome. And one of the nice things, a couple of people have commented, they've seen the video online, that we shoot and we use for promotion. It's flat. So we've had some properties where we've had 100 acres and it's, the change in elevation makes your ears pop. it's so it's just ridiculous. So we've had to like golf cart people who couldn't walk up and down hills like to the top of the hill so they could metal detect and things like that. So, but we make every effort to be as accommodating to everyone as we possibly can. And like I said, the earlier comment about it being, very friendly. It is definitely a very friendly community. Everybody's always willing to help each other out.
Yeah, it was definitely very friendly, and it was a lot of fun, and like any event with a natural hunt, nobody can guarantee you're going to find anything.
Yeah,
And
and
some
that's
people did
yeah,
find some pretty neat things. There were some good things found, a half real and I think a largie, a 2 cent piece. So there was pretty neat stuff found. I found a fork or a spoon or something.
right. Yeah, that's the hardest thing, right? So it's like, yeah, we've got this mid 1800s farm. It's been occupied for a long time. It's an extremely historic area. Um, I was on another show the other night, and we were talking about it is literally right down the street from a house where like General Washington and the troops were all at. Like he stayed in that house. It's the auntie's house. It's historically known.
Oh
Like
yeah.
he stayed there, and a couple of his other officers stayed in the other houses across the street. So there's a lot that went on down there. There was no battles, fought in the area, but it was Camp Pottsgrove. There's a historic church right down the street that served as a field hospital, and they have a painting that's hanging in there of General Washington overseeing the troops coming into the hospital. So there's a lot of history in the area, but you're right. We get on these natural hunt sites and we can't guarantee anything. We've had some great successes, like you said, people find stuff. Our first one, we had 100 acres of, farm fields. That house, the primary residence was from the late early 1800s. Then it was a secondary house from the early 1800s. And, we had the primary residence blocked out. People were hunting the fields, they were finding crotal bells, large scents, buckles, like everything. And then the homeowners on the secondary property were like, come on into the backyard, hunt as close as you want to the house. Like, and then just ridiculous stuff came popping out of the ground. Like, reals, Jersey coppers, large scents from, every different, era. Lots of antiques. There was a trapper's tag found from the person who built the house, which they gave to the homeowners because they had a picture of the guy who built the house standing next to the house that he had built. So they like added the trapper tag to the picture. It's just cool. Like that's what our events are about. Like we give a lot back to the people who host us. We generally put together
Yeah.
shadow boxes and things like that. Even in our club hunts, that's kind of the goal. Like we say, people who are going to come to the next Come Out Swinging will bring stuff that they found at the last club hunt. We'll collect all that up. We'll put a shadow box together for the last property owner who we did a hunt on their property as a club, and we'll present that to them. So that's just the way we do it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's just sometimes you see comments on different groups and stuff like that. Different hunts, pretty much most any that have natural hunts, and people. Some people are perfectly happy, and some people you just can't please everybody.
Yeah.
But me,
If you
like I
come and
didn't.
you don't find anything, find a friend, right?
Yeah, I don't find much because I'm too busy like going
You're a
around
chatty
talking to
Cathy.
people. Yeah, I was a chatty Cathy. I go out in the field for about half an hour, and then I came right back to the barn. So but it's well worth it to me. But so let's get Nathan. I said my man
I see.
Robert.
Yeah, Nathan. Yeah, Nathan's been a huge help. So Nathan's one of our like committee members for the Come Out Swinging events. He's on the Historical Society board with me. So he goes out and he went and previewed the property with me, helped me walk the grounds, took a look at it, met with the property owner, discussed what it is we do and how we do it. So he's like, an important figure in making sure the events are a success, right? It's not just me. So don't believe that for a minute.
No, I know
There's
it's
a
not
whole
just
there's
you.
a whole crew back there that's propping me up and making me look good. And we got like Corey. You might know him as Diggin' Dad or On the Wagon
Yeah.
with Corey Mason. Yeah, he's another guy. Like he shot the drone video for me. He does that. I say, hey, Corey, I need drone video, and he's out there, shooting video for me. And got a lot of good people, a lot of good volunteers that'll come out the day of the event and do the registration, and just make sure everybody's having a good time and have everything that they need.
Yeah, he's good. I had him on here a few months ago.
Digging Dad, yeah, right, yeah.
No, Nathan.
Oh, you had Nathan on. That's right, you did have Nathan on.
Yeah,
Did you? You should consider having Corey on. Corey's a pretty interesting cat.
I will have him on. I like to have everybody behind all the events so we can get to know the people, not just the events. The events are cool. Love them.
Yeah, find a friend is a good idea.
I love Mark Thomas. Why? Come out swinging. What's up, Marky Mark? So let's
Mark
get to
just.
know
I'm just gonna say that Mark just did a pretty fantastic thing without saying exactly what Mark did. So hey, Mark, 2 thumbs up to you, buddy. That was pretty solid.
talking about Mark
I want to leave it
Thomas.
at that. I want to leave it at that.
That's all right. I can imagine because Mark Thomas is an awesome dude. Really nice guy. So let's get to know you, Rob.
Sure. No questions are unfair.
All right, we'll start with the typical detecting questions, like when did you start metal detecting or treasure
Yeah.
seeking
So
in general?
so I was that kid, whose parents used to, take him camping in the summer, and we had like an old canvas tent, and I had like a Radio Shack yard sale metal detector, and I found a million pull tabs. I don't think I ever found anything but pull tabs and bottle caps at campgrounds. Probably because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to use the machine. I didn't know how to set it up. Like, it's like a radio when you get it. Like you're a kid, you remember your old boombox. Every dial just got turned all the way to right, bass all the way to the right, treble all the way to right, volume all the way to the right. It was the same thing with the metal detector, right? Discrimination all the way to the right, volume all the way to the right. Just crank everything up and go. So yeah, we were digging a lot of trash. Let's put it that way. And then for the longest time, I didn't detect, and it was something that was always interesting to me, but never really had anyone to do it with. And didn't really understand where you could do it or how that could happen. And I met my lovely wife, which will be married 25 years this December. And her
Early happy
brother-in-law,
anniversary.
yeah, thanks. My brother-in-law and her dad were huge detectorists. He was a cop in the city. So they used to detect some areas in Philadelphia and in Bucks County in Pennsylvania, which is a really historic area. And one day he said to me, like, hey, we're going detecting, you want to come? And I was like, I don't really know what. He's like, come on, you can carry a shovel, So we went detecting. I carried the shovel. I joke, I was the Jack Begley of the day, right? I was digging holes and he was swinging the machine. And it didn't take long until I was like, I got to get me one of those, and then we were off and running and, digging holes with our own shovels, finding our own targets. And, the first machine I think, legit machine I had was a Tesoro Toltec 2, which was a concentric coil machine with an analog meter on it and, all the buttons and dials and everything else. But it was a great machine. Served me well for a couple of years. And then, you start seeing all this technology coming out. And I broke down and bought a MindLab Explorer XS model, I think. Got the Sunray inline pinpointer, got all the hookups on that thing. And that was the machine that really, really hooked me in the hobby. Just tweaking that machine, playing around with it, dialing it in. And, the multi-frequency technology of that was just a game changer. We'd go back and hit, hunt sites that we had previously hunted, and you're just like pulling targets out of the ground. How do we miss these? So, yeah, but Nathan always pulls giant iron out of the ground.
I think he did on the spring one too.
He's the Iron Giant. That's his new nickname. That should be his metal detecting nickname, Iron Giant.
There you go.
He needs to pull a wagon with him when he goes metal detecting. That guy finds more big iron.
Nathan the Iron Giant.
Nathan the Iron Giant.
What was the first like? Everybody has a special find, something that they were, like not everybody like has the same significant finds, I should say. Like My first exciting find was when I found a complete shoe buckle.
Yeah, that's
So,
pretty
all
solid.
the other
That's
stuff
nice.
was pretty great. I did find a silver match safe that, oh yeah, that was cool. Skeleton key, that was cool. I was happy, but I mean, I was excited over that shoe buckle. So, what was the first find you found that you got really excited about?
Yeah, and the interesting thing about it was I didn't know that I should have been excited until somebody told me I should have been excited. And that was the 1781 Real that I found. So we were on the Delaware River in Bucks County, on the riverbank adjacent to William Penn's summer home. So his property's like fenced off. It's got like big chain link fences all around it. But the property like right adjacent to it on the Delaware River is fair game, So we figured why not? It's kind of like muddy, like a muddy clay. The water's kind of nasty up there. It's been polluted for years, but we were in there and we were pulling out IHPs and musket balls and really just having a good time. The musket balls to me were huge, despite the fact that a musket ball could be modern, but you just envision like it's not, right. It's
Yeah,
old. The IHPs to me, those were always one of my favorite coins to find. But then
yeah,
I
I
hit
love my
this,
HPs.
yeah, I hit this, this coin about 6 inches deep in the mud. Popped the plug out, and it was like one of those videos you see now where it's just the slice of the plug is just right there in the middle. Like when I spit the plug open, it's just right there exposed. And I look down at it, and it was so perfect that it was hard to believe that it wasn't new. Like it just looked like a new button to me, like looking down at it, like somebody just dropped this the other day. So I plucked it out of the soil and took it over to my brother-in-law, and I said, "Oh, hey, I just found this." And he was like, "Do you know what that is?" And I'm like, "I have no idea. What is it?" And then he had to explain to me what it was. And then like he was like, "Dude, you should be excited about this." And then I was excited about it. Like then you start researching it, then so that to me that was the game changer. Like that was the thing. Like the technology I found that with the Tesoro. So that got me really hooked, and I was like, man, if these things are out here, I want to be involved in this game. So I'm going to get some better technology so I can find more things like this. And then I saw him dig a large cent, and it was very new to the hobby. I had never seen a large cent before. You see pictures of, but you never see one like in person, right? I didn't go to coin shows or anything like that. And then to hold one of those things in your hand, it's just like, the weight of it is pretty impressive, and then that kind of like for me, like they were all finding them, and I was like, I gotta start finding those. Like, what do I need to do? And they were all swinging Mind Labs, and I was like, I gotta have a Mind Lab. So it's like,
So,
it was like a commercial. Like, you need a Mind Lab.
yeah. I think most of my really significant finds I actually found my AT Pro.
Yeah, and that it's funny. Like my brother-in-law, he he's like me. Like I'm not a brand specific guy. Like if I find something that I like to swing and I like the way it sounds and I like the way it feels in my arm, like that's what I'm going to swing. And I've always had the benefit of him because he's had Whites and Garrett's and he's at everything. I don't know that there's. I mean, he's got machines out there that he mentions the names, and I'm like, what? Like, I didn't even know that was a brand. He's like, oh yeah, it's from Russia. I'm like, okay, if you say so, But yeah, I get to try stuff out. Just pull it out of his arsenal and swing it. He's always up for that. So yeah, I don't think there's. My theory is there's no one machine. There just isn't. Like,
No.
You think about the technology and how it gets developed and what goes into it. And you can have three people swinging over the same spot, walking next to each other under the same conditions. Some will, some won't. Some will just move on, and it's just, it's about the person. It's about the setup. It's about the conditions. It's about the swing
people
speed.
don't realize too. It's about the, with the you're literally listening in 1 inch.
Yeah.
The
margin of error is ridiculous.
Yeah. So yeah, I may swing real tight and real slow and miss it. And you can come behind me swinging like a maniac and just so happen to go over it.
Just catch it. That's it. If you
Yeah.
don't swing your coil over it, you'll never find it. So
Exactly. So that's why I see people in chats all the time, or not in chats, but sometimes in chats, but mostly on Facebook, different groups. And I want to detect what the machine should I get, and everybody's throwing major brands out there, and or whatever they're swinging, and they feel is the best. And I just tell them, look, if you get a machine, first of all, if you've never detected, you probably should buy a cheap one.
right. That's a big
Inexpensive.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
mean
Yeah. Don't buy cheap quality, but buy inexpensive. Yeah, absolutely
inexpensive.
right.
Get yourself like a bounty hunter, something you're going to spend $100 or so on, because you don't even know if you want to dig pull tabs yet or not.
Right. Yeah.
So, and a
I'm
bounty
always
hunter
amazed. Like nobody ever asks the question, where are you going to use it? Like somebody's like, I'm thinking about buying a detector. What should I buy? Oh, you need to buy a Knox. Well, wait a second. Where are they using it?
exactly.
Like if they're underwater all the time, maybe that's not the right machine for them. Like like if they're at the beach all the time, or
I'll
they need
see
something.
people I've seen people like slam other people for machines they use that they feel are inferior. And I tell them all the time, look, if you swing and it goes beep and you dig it and it's metal, then it's working.
That's right. That's right.
So as long as it goes beep beep, and then you're gonna have to, hey Andy, Lost Boys, you're gonna have to dig a lot of trash to find a little bit of treasure.
Well, and that's the other thing.
That's all I dig.
Well, that's my come out swinging joke. I invite all these people to come out swinging so they can dig out all the trash, and I can go back and find the treasure.
Exactly. All right. What do you do with? All right, so I know with your club and you yourself, sometimes you put shadow boxes together for permissions you get, but do you keep a lot of the things you find, the things that you can keep? Do you keep a lot of things you find, or do you what do you do with them?
Yeah, I've committed myself because I started to get into that habit, and I'm at the point in my life now where I'm trying to get rid of as many things as I possibly can. I'm like in that cleansing mode. So when I find something, I evaluate it. Like, is it something that I need to keep? Meaning, like it has some kind of a value to me personally. Like if it's a coin I never found before, then yeah, there's a box up here in the back. You can't see it. But there's a box and it has it's a catalog of envelopes, and inside of every one of those envelopes, if it's a coin, it goes in the envelope. If it's a ring, it goes in the envelope. And then I just kind of look at it, from that perspective. There's some stuff in the background back here. You can see like in the little coin display that I keep out that are just, a couple of different coins, different varieties of things. That's what it comes down to. I'd like to have like, kind of maybe one of everything.
Yeah.
But right now I got a jar of Doug Wheaties. Like they'll all go into the ground for come out swinging for the kids hunt. Like, yeah, they're, I may keep them, but to me, there's more value in putting it back into the community like that. And when I'm on a property, I would say 99% of the time, almost 100% of what I find is going back into the shadow box. Like if I find 2 large cents, I'm gonna mirror them in the box. If I find 5 large cents, it's like, am I going to make a whole shadow box of just large cents? Probably not, but I may be like, oh, I don't have that variety of that large cent. Like maybe I would hold on to that for that reason. But most times now, it's going back to the people who gave me permission. If they want it, if not, I'll figure out a way to put it back into come out swinging so that, other people can enjoy it. It's the hunt. That's like, when I go fishing, I don't keep fish. I haven't kept the fish since I was like 8 years old.
Yeah, it's funny. Like you're the only other person I've ever heard, because I always say it's like fishing to me. Instead of tossing out the bait, and waiting, we're swinging and waiting, but still it's like fishing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. I know some people have said to me, well, why don't you keep the things you find? Because a lot of the stuff I found, I've given away. If somebody in the Midwest wins, if I do a giveaway and they win and they're out in like, Missouri or something, or, Nevada or something where they're not going to find a Danny button, I'll throw that in there. I have.
Right.
So, like how many dandies do I need?
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
I keep the special ones like the tombacks, the etched ones, but I find lots of plain dandies. And I know some people aren't in an area where they're going to find them. So you got to see this. Hang on, I'm going to share this one. There you go.
are you our club elderly person? So, team Team Lynch, are you asking? Am I? What am I reading there? And you are okay.
I am the club's elderly
Elderly
ambassador.
ambassador.
Yeah.
Are the Lynches insinuating that they're elderly? Because I don't think if they're
No,
elderly,
no,
I wouldn't
no.
move like those two when they when
When
I get.
we just had a club hunt this weekend, and there were a lot of Wheaties out in the sand because the Wheaties sound an awful lot like the tokens. So to even out the playing field, there's a lot of Wheaties out there. Because you got people that swing 90 miles an hour and run 45 miles an hour looking for, and only trying to get tokens. And then you
Right.
got people like my little Miss Faye, who's looking more at 90 than she has been at 80. About, she's got the AT Pro as compact as you can get, and it's still too big. And her husband, they had driven up from Virginia for the day. Hey Donna, that's my club president. Oh, you know Donna Funk.
I know Donna.
And
Love Donna.
so she wasn't finding too much, so I helped her out, and we have one club member, Tom. He doesn't swing as fast as everybody either, so I gave him some tokens for some tickets too. And but yeah, I pretty much had Faye and her husband pretty much underneath my wing the time. I would let her go first. I was on the other side of the field, and then I'd get my little bit and run over to her and help her find stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah. See, that's what the community's about, right?
Yeah, and just to let Donna, Tim, and Kathy know, because I did tell them that I told John and Faye to call me when they got home, in Virginia, and they did. So they can let me know that to make sure they got home safely, because they were up there, and they had just come down for the day. So that's why we had the Wheatie pennies. That's why we have the Wheaties out there. The pennies out there. It's just it kind of evens out the playing field for everybody. So everybody has just as because everybody paid the same price to be there.
Yep. Yeah, and that's funny because like when we did the first event. Donna may remember. I don't remember how I got connected with Donna, but I got connected with Donna somehow. And Donna was like, look, do yourself a favor, talk to this person. And then when you got some ideas, let me know what your ideas are and we'll talk about them. And I'll let you know if they're going to work or not. And she was a huge part, especially in our later events where we added the seated component. And, we started, doing things like prize tokens and things like that. She was one of those people. She was like, if you're going to do prize tokens, like I was at her hunt. I was like, painted pennies. And she's like, yeah, you just throw all the pennies out there and only penny ones. And I'm like, I get it. Yeah, you got to dig them all. Right. And she's like, yeah, you got to dig them all. I was like, oh, okay. Exactly. Like that makes sense, So yeah, we do that, a lot. That's kind of the idea. Like when we did, you saw it when we did Joker Poker, right?
Yeah.
Everybody was like, I got a nickel signal. I'm like, yeah. Every one of the cards is a nickel, so dig all the nickels. Like like nobody wants to dig nickels. Like they're like, they're like the most despised coin or something. Like everybody's like, oh, it's a nickel signal. Like, yeah, I got to dig those.
At our last at the club hunt this past weekend, was it last weekend? I don't even know. I'm so tired. At the club hunt, the last hunt, we were supposed to be listening for nickel signals, but there was pennies out there too. And it is kind of funny because I'd say 90% of us were picking up the pennies too. Okay. Even though it wasn't the pennies we were going after, we were going after the nickels, but you just can't help yourself.
You just can't, yeah.
You just got to pick up the pennies too. I mean, there were a few that went directly to the nickels and ignored the pennies, but for the most part, most of us picked up the pennies too.
Right. Yeah, and we switch it up.
Sorry, Bob.
Yeah, so when we have like we'll have our seated hunt, we'll have tokens out in the field, and we've used some special tokens for some special prizes, and um, you know we'll change it up so that it's not nobody's like, hey, it was a Chuck E. Cheese token last year. Bringing my own Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
Yeah, you don't want that. Yeah, and people don't realize too, on a beach hunt, a beach hunt is a little different than like the ground. I mean, you wouldn't be putting all these weedies in the ground. It's in the sand, it's a little different.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to change my plan of attack this year for the seeded hunt. Like, we're going to put prize tokens in the ground for sure. And we're putting a ton of silver in the ground, dimes, quarters, halves. But then we're going to have prize tokens out there as well. I'm not going to say what denomination those are going to be or what they might sound like. Those are for the people to find out. But yeah, last year I put, as part of the seeded hunt, I put I want to say over 100 IHPs in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, it's different, right? So it's like the thought was there. Like, I had an idea to kind of make some noise in the ground, make people dig targets. But people figured out pretty quick that the IHPs were, we didn't use pennies as tokens. Let's put it that way. So they just stopped digging the IHPs, and we're planting them in the dirt, right? So I got to dig a hole for every target that I'm burying, because we actually
that's why on the beach it's a lot easier to use the pennies.
Is a lot easier. Yeah. So, but I invented a seeding tool. I love it. Everybody who uses it, wants to make one of their own or wants me to make them one. So it makes my job easy. I can get 200 targets in the ground in less than an hour. So.
Hey, headed to the creek just came in.
And I think Donna just said, I have good tokens for you, laugh out loud. Donna is such a huge supporter of everything we do. Her and Bob always make sure if there's anything we need, they make sure we have it. If there's any help we need, they make sure they're there to be, helpful, volunteer time at the events. So we always appreciate that. There's a lot of great people. And
they're awesome.
Yeah.
Susan Toker said, get some aluminum fake pirate coin. Mess everyone up. There was. So
me and Nathan dug enough aluminum over the weekend. I finally got a chance to get out, and Nathan was nice enough to invite me to his to a property he had gotten permission for, and we were digging these perfect 29, 30, 31 signals, and they were these aluminum wire wheel tags. They were just amazing. They were impossible to pass up, but I think we had a stack of them by the time we were done.
Bob said you just want the coffee.
More coffee. There's always room for more coffee.
So let's find out about you. Let's see. I'm looking at these questions because there's some good ones. What makes you laugh the most?
What makes me laugh the most? My wife has a wicked sense of humor. Really, yeah, she's sharp funny. She gets it. She's got a deep thinker sense of humor, and both of my kids are getting that as well. So we spend a lot of time, laughing. So
that's a good thing.
I would say they do. They keep me happy, keep me honest. Yeah, we all share a very similar dry sense of humor, and we all get it. So it makes our household fun.
So what two radio stations do you listen to in the car the most?
What two radio stations? So I'm like an alternative rock kind of guy. So and then alternative rock and classic rock. But I would say 90% of the time when I'm in the car, I'm listening to a book, like an audible book, or some sort of a podcast. That's what I spend the most of my time listening to now in the car.
Yeah, I've tried the book thing before, but
I spend a lot of time in the car for my job, and that definitely helps pass the time.
Well, let's see. There was a question about your job on here. What is your favorite thing about your career?
My flexibility. So some people may, like, if you're friends with me on Facebook, you may have seen, or even on like the Relic Recovery, Boyertown Relic Recovery, and the Come Out Swinging page, I posted pictures from the summer. My career affords me the opportunity to pretty much work from wherever I want to work from. So we spent June, July, and August in South Carolina in North Myrtle Beach up near Cherry Grove. So 10 years ago, I wouldn't have had that opportunity in the job that I had for 20 plus years. So I made a career change late in life. And now I get to see, my son plays high school soccer. I get to see all those games. My daughter plays high school soccer. I get to see all those games. I get to coach. I get to go to school activities. I get to make my own schedule and, work with my clients when it's convenient for me and them. So that's what I like most about my job.
Well, on the flip side, what is your biggest complaint about your job, or do you even have one?
As somebody who has to listen to my conversation sometimes from the other room, my wife would probably give you a long list of things that I would complain about my job. Probably the biggest complaint for me is when I don't, in my career, I like to try and educate people. I'm an educator by trade. I like to educate them about their opportunities and what they can do and help them into decision making. The biggest frustration for me is when we make those educated decisions and we analyze the recommendations and they agree, and then their cousin, the plumber, tells them that they should do something different. And then they, it's like, we're talking about your financial future here, and you're getting nothing wrong with plumbers, right? But your plumber is not the guy that you want to go to for financial advice. Like, so like, I don't tell people how to plumb, right? So, it's not my job. That's the hard part, It's the outside noise that gets inside of people's heads sometimes.
Yeah, I get that. Hey, JVP.
I wish I could treasure hunt for a living. That would be yeah. I think there's a lot of people. I could probably, click off all the names in the chat right now who would like to treasure hunt for a living.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Probably more so than not.
All right. Would you rather vacation in Hawaii or Alaska, and why?
Ooh. Am I going by myself, or am I bringing the family?
Yeah, however you want to answer it.
So if I'm going by myself, I'm going, oh, this is tough too, because I just started to surf. So like surfer's paradise, like Hawaii is like pretty nice for surfing. But the family loves to be at the beach. So if it was a family trip, I would say we'd probably go to Hawaii. If it was me flying solo, I think I would go to Alaska. I love being outside. I love the outdoors. I grew up hunting and fishing and doing all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I like that, being close to nature like that. Not that you can do that in Hawaii, but I think it's just a different vibe. Alaska's like a whole, somewhere I want to visit. Alaska for me, Hawaii for the family.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
to visit. Cool. I don't know if I want to do that off-grid living there.
Yeah, I see. That's me. I watch those shows and I'm like, I could so do that. Like, I know I could. Like, I probably don't.
Yeah,
people are
I could do it for probably like a month. To be like,
what do you mean you could do it? Like, I could do it. I want to do that. I want to test, the limits of myself.
I would last probably a month and be like, okay, no, I got to have running water. If you could go back in time, what year would you travel to?
I think the 50s. It was like the 50s. Like the 50s, had like a lot of stuff figured out, right? You go too far back in time, and like you could wake up one morning and like get bit by a fly and be dead in 7 days, and nobody knew how to fix that, right? Like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to go that far back. But yeah, like the 50s, the cars were cool, the music was good, the clothes were pretty awesome. The people had like there was some, not so kosher stuff going on back then too. But in general, I think the 50s would be a good era.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I would say anytime directly after World War II, probably to up to about maybe 65.
Yeah, that was a pretty exciting time, right? Everybody coming
Yeah.
back and the housing boom and industrialism and like revisiting all that stuff. Like the, we were on the cusp of the new technological era, like all that cool stuff. Yeah, that's a good time.
Tom Kingery said, go back to a year before the gold rush and get all the gold.
That's right. Then we would change history, Tom. We would have the grandfather paradox, like where we might actually like change history so much that we don't exist in the future. Then we wouldn't be able to go back in time.
The Ento Samurai says he hears a mad dog. No, you hear my little idiot. He's barking at the air. Shh. Hey. What is the best gift you've been given?
I have 2 kids. They're both healthy. And I think if I asked them, they would say they were happy. So that's a pretty cool gift. I know this is going to sound stupid, but I've owned 3 houses and I've never had a garage door opener. And last year they bought me a garage door opener that I can open from anywhere with my phone.
Hey,
And
how you doing?
that is a life-changing
Doing
piece
good.
of technology. As stupid as it sounds.
It's been a while.
Hey,
Like,
if you ain't got to get out and then open up the garage door, it's
well,
worth
it's just
it.
crazy. Like, Amazon's got a delivery. It's a big box, and we're going to be gone for a week. I just like open the garage and tell the guy to put it inside the garage. It's just fantastic. It's a life-changing event.
All right.
Night, Steve.
I'm doing good. It's
Thanks
a good
for
start to
joining
the
us
year so
tonight.
far. I'm gonna move it closer just
Um,
a little bit. Like that maybe.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah, no, it's been good so far.
Ooh.
I know it's been a while since we've
Hopefully
seen each
still
other.
doing come out swinging events.
But I'm excited to get back started and do it again. So.
Further along in my career than I am right now. Every year the business gets a little bit bigger. My client base gets a little bit larger.
So
In 5 years, I'll have a son who's graduated from college and a daughter who's getting ready to start college. So
it's been.
that'll be a pretty crazy time in my life, but exciting time. Like looking forward to that. I don't ever want to look too far into the future because I don't want to like miss today.
I
Yeah.
figured it might
True.
be good to start with like a new piece or something.
What are 2 of your pet peeves? Or do you even have any pet peeves?
I
Do you have
do.
any ideas or anything
Right.
you
So
wanna look at?
my biggest one, and I don't know why, but it's like, and everybody's going to do this to me now. People who stand near me and eat crunchy food. Like you can ask anyone in my family. That is like my biggest, like that's my pet peeve. Everything else I'll let slide. That drives something about that sound drives me absolutely insane.
For me, it's chewing with your mouth open.
Yeah, that's a bad one too. Yeah. But yeah, that's something about the sound of crunchy food just sets me off.
I really
I
did
had to
like
remove myself. So right now, like everyone's buying like hard candy to bring to come out swinging, and they're all going.
yeah.
I'm gonna bring corn chips. I like them better,
So
and they won't break the few teeth.
yeah,
I got
I
left.
think right now I would be interested in learning something like that.
If you were a superhero, what powers would you have?
I know I'm putting you on the spot.
If I was a superhero, what powers would I would have? Are there other superheroes in the world? My superpower would be the ability to absorb other superheroes' abilities. That's my superpower. Whatever they can do, I can automatically do so.
But better.
But better.
Yeah. What would you do if you won the lottery?
I think I would say yes. I am.
I would, well, as a financial services professional, I would invest a lot of the money. I would probably start a couple of charitable organizations, and I would, run come out swinging significantly differently.
So is that off a $2 win or a $2 million win?
That's well, yeah. If it's big money, we're talking about a couple $1 million. That can be life changing, right? First we got to make sure the family's taken care of, the kids are taken care of, set up all that kind of stuff. But if we're talking about fun money, like where it's like ridiculous, where you win like $1 billion in the lottery, like there's a lot I could do with that. I'm involved in a lot of charitable organizations, right? The United Way, we serve in Boyertown, 17 agencies in the community. I do a lot of volunteer work. I've been on like the Kids Homeschool Associations and, just those kinds of things we get excited about, right? We like to have that as part of our life. So yeah, we would be very charitable for sure.
I'm sure you would. I could tell that. If you could share a meal with any 4 individuals, living or dead, who would they be?
Genghis Khan is definitely at the top of that list. There's a guy who does a podcast called Hardcore History, and if you ever listen to The Wrath of Khans, which is one of his podcasts, it's like 27 hours long or something like that. That guy was pretty interesting. So he's definitely on the list. I don't know if there's many modern people that I would be really that interested in spending too much time with. Probably some. That's a great question. I might have to give a follow-up for that. There's so many. Like, I don't think like Washington or Lincoln. They're just too obvious. But like,
you gotta go with like Sun Tzu or something.
Yeah, like my son's in the background, coming up with ridiculous. Like, somebody fun though, like Carlin, right? Like Carlin would be, like he would be an awesome guy.
That would be a blast,
right? Yeah.
I think I like that one. Yeah,
Carlin's pretty solid. Like, yeah, I could see me spending some time with him, and maybe, I think that's the kind of people I'd rather spend time with. Genghis Khan, just definitely like pick his brain, see what was going on there, but just people that you could sit down and enjoy a meal with and have fun and make fun of each other and everyone laugh at the same time at the jokes, like, and get it. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I couldn't even come up with one really. But yeah. Who asked that question?
Oh, they're on a list of questions to ask people. I like them because they're pretty.
That's a good one.
Would you rather trade intelligence for looks or looks for intelligence?
I'll take intelligence all day long.
Well, lucky you got both.
No, I don't know about that. But you're very kind to say so.
What's the most daring thing you've ever done?
I've done a lot of stupid stuff. Most daring thing. I guess I left my job. I had a job. I was in that job since I was 17 years old. I was there for 24 years, and then just decided to leave one day.
It's pretty daring.
Yeah, I had a house, a wife, 2 kids, and decided, 41 years old, I'm gonna leave my job and do something different that I have never done before. So I think that's probably it.
Yeah, that's pretty brave. Is your glass half full or half empty?
Yeah.
Depending on the day of the week. Most times it's half full, but there are times where I'm just in a mood and it's half empty.
I'm always just wondering who drank it.
How do I get more?
Yeah, exactly. What is the most unusual thing you've ever eaten?
I eat a lot of unusual stuff.
Okay.
So I grew up, I tell people this all the time. People are like, you'll eat anything. I'm like, yeah, I'll at least try it. My dad used to eat pickled goat's tongue. So I've eaten pickled goat's tongue. I've eaten a moth, caterpillar, just various bugs because people ask me to. So yeah, I'll try anything once. Brains, I've had brains, tongue, plenty of times. Yeah.
I had raccoon.
That I've never had.
Tastes
I've
like
never
duck.
Tastes like duck. See, I'm a big duck guy, so
I'm not.
yeah, I like duck.
But that's what it tasted like.
I've never, you know what? I like duck, but I've never had goose.
I've never had goose either.
Yeah.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
After about 30 seconds, extrovert.
Okay.
And are you related or distantly related to anyone famous?
I really like this one.
As far as I know, no.
Yeah.
The closest thing I ever, I guess,
really
if anything, famous. I've never really done like a family history or anything like that. So I have, my family's like, my dad's side of the family is like Dutch German, and my mom's side of the family is English. And on my mom's side of the family, they were racehorse like breeders, right? They had racehorse farms like many generations ago. Nothing that would have ever touched my life or my parents' life or even my grandparents' life.
Winner. That might be the winner.
One of our distant cousins was like,
all right, I think we go with that one.
What was that horse? I can't think of the name now. It's not Warhorse. It's anybody in the chat who knows, that would be awesome. But it was like a very famous horse who almost won like the Triple Crown or whatever. Like that.
Oh wow,
that horse.
Oh, Secretariat.
Was it Secretariat? Maybe it was Secretariat. Well, whatever it was, like he was a sire of a horse on like one of my great grandparents' farms or something like that. That's probably the closest I've ever come to being famous, which is ridiculous. It's a horse.
Yeah, Charlie said Secretariat.
Secretariat.
Probably the most well. I think he was the first one to win the Triple Crown.
Yeah. So they had a farm over in Jersey, and I think one of his offspring or whatever was like on there. So it was supposed to be somebody. I don't know. I don't know a lot about horses. Have I ever eaten rattlesnake? No, but I've had other kinds of snake.
Yeah, that should be fun. Yeah.
So
I've never had snake either.
When I was a kid, my friend and I, Nick, when I used to go camping, we used to get up at like 6 o'clock every day, just go fishing and like exploring like kids would do. And like legit, we would be out and like be hungry and start a fire and cook something. There was plenty of snakes around.
What's his name? Bear Grylls?
We ate snakes, we tried frogs. Like, we were just, two young, dumb kids in the woods, right? What are you going to do?
I had frog legs. They weren't that bad.
Yeah, frog legs are good.
Aside from necessities, what is the one thing you could not go a day without?
I've tried going without coffee. But there's people like, Donna Funk in my life who make sure that I have an abundant supply and readily available. So yeah, coffee's kind of my thing. I'm actually cutting down. I used to drink a pot of coffee in the morning between 7 and 10:30. And then after lunch, I have an espresso machine. I would drink espressos. Now I'm down to half a pot of coffee and sometimes espresso in the afternoon.
The Enta Samurai asked, did you ever dig up a rare treasure?
I don't think I've ever, I see people find stuff and they which I always find intriguing. There's only X amount of this particular coin, minted. Yes, Donna, only one pot. I didn't tell you how big the pot was, though. It's one of those 50 cup carafe, thing. I don't know that I've ever dug up anything that anyone would consider a treasure. Treasures to me, for sure. Or maybe to other people, like you said, people out in the Midwest, when I was talking to Ken King, he was like, we don't get large cents out here. We just kind of take that for granted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You dig large cents. It's awesome. Large cent, but, there's a box of them behind me, that, and that's only what I've kept. Right.
Right.
So some people don't have that. So to them, I know a lot of people come out swinging. They're like Crotal Bell, Tom back button, large cent. Like those are the 3 things that come, and where I'm just like, man, I wish I could put everyone that comes to the event on one of those 3 things, because they just seem to be like on everybody's list of things they want to find.
I just want to find a Jersey copper.
Jersey copper, yeah, that's nice. I was with a guy when he found a the chain scent.
Yeah,
that was pretty impressive.
I'd actually rather find a Jersey copper than a gold coin.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. See, that's one of those things. Like if I found, if I was somewhere where I was finding Jersey coppers and I found one and it was on the property, and would I say to myself like, okay, I would put this in the shadow box, or would I be like, do I want to start looking at Jersey copper varieties? My gut tells me that I would probably give it back to the homeowners.
I might have to check that on my phone.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be really splitting hairs on that one. I'd give it a gold coin, believe it or not, because I probably wouldn't dig up a gold coin because I kind of don't do midtones.
You gotta dig everything.
Oh, like, I know, but yeah,
that's where the treasure comes from.
A lot of the times, what I dig up is, after a while of digging up shotgun shells, I don't feel like digging anymore. So,
hey, some people like those shotgun shells. They look for the different stamps. Somebody just posted one the other day that had like real fine engraving around the band, and I had never seen that before. I was like, I would hold on to that.
Yeah. I mean, I last year I found a all brass casing, and I didn't realize how old it actually was, and I don't know what I did with it. But I posted it on my personal Facebook page, I think, and somebody's like, "Oh man, that's from whatever year," and it was old, and I'm like, "Oh, I chucked it because it was brass."
Like I have these, I don't even know why they're like behind me. They're shell casing. I can't even remember what, but they're brass. And they're from the Frankfurt Arsenal, which was in Philadelphia. And they were manufactured. Right? I forget when they were manufactured. Yeah, right? There's nothing special about them, right? They're like, but they're stamped on the bottom when and where they were made. And to me, that's cool. Like, I don't know why. It just is. I got 4 of them sitting back here. I found them all
cool.
Can you still see me
in the same spot. But, that's the weird stuff, right? Like trash to some people, treasure to others.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I know people. I remember Jason, quarter hoarders. One time he was talking about when he first started detecting. He was so excited to find the head stamps. Hey, Richie, he was so excited to find the head stamps that he actually had them in a display box and stuff. And then after finding, I guess like 1,000, the novelty wears off.
The novelty wears off, yeah.
But I mean, I used to date them. I used to see, look them up, what year they were manufactured. And most of the ones I was finding at the time were turn of the century until about 1912 or something like that. So, I mean, they're old.
Right.
That was cool. But I didn't know the brass casing was that old. And I was just like,
Right. Yeah.
But I took a picture of it.
Yeah. And, that was like, I think like I found a piece, before, right? So like I was detecting by myself, and I found a part of a shoe buckle. And I had no idea what it was. It was kind of mangled. It was like plow hit, and it was really. But then I showed it to my brother-in-law again, like same thing with the real, and he was like, "Dude, that's a colonial era shoe buckle." Then we looked at the shoe buckle chart, and we were able to get a date from it, and I was like, I would have never known.
The same thing, just
Now I'm a little wiser. I take a little more time to look at the things that I find and analyze them a little deeper and ask people, which this, in my opinion, this is one of the, aside from being able to promote our event and, communicate with the club, that's one of the greatest things, in my opinion, about Facebook, about social media. What is this thing that I found? Anyone know? And within like 5 seconds, you got like 20 people offering opinions. And figure it out. Like that is awesome.
Or some people have found it and done their own research in the past, and they're able to tell you.
Yeah, right away. Yeah.
Digologist asked, "Where are you from?" He just subbed you.
I am from originally. I grew up in Philadelphia, so beautiful downtown. My wife says, "Don't ever tell people this." I'm from beautiful downtown Kensington. Spent most of my life there, and then moved to like Lower Bucks County, and now I live on the Berks Montgomery County border in Pennsylvania, in Gilbertsville, PA.
Gotcha.
So that's what we call home right now.
Yeah. Where was the Globe Inn at?
The Globe is in. Is that in Perkiomen? Right outside.
I don't remember. I don't remember the address. I know it
Yeah, I
was
don't
like
remember
10
the
minutes
address
away.
either. But that's a beautiful
Okay.
place.
So my
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. It was
Yeah.
my first. It was my first B&B, and I was not disappointed.
Oh, in
I
Greenville.
see.
It's in East
So
Greenville.
My left
Yeah,
hand is
Greenville.
up to where my
It
right
was
hand
and I took the 1860
Now,
room, and I think it was. I think everything, including bed, was from 1860,
Much
including the
stuff,
mattress.
stuff with straw, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, no,
yeah,
it was really nice. It was a nice
There's
place.
another place in town. It's a Victorian place. It's called the Twin Turrets. It's only got like.
Oh
four
yeah, I
rooms
looked
in
at that
it.
one too, but they were booked
Yeah.
by the time I was. The Globe Inn worked with me too because I wanted the 1860 room, and I was still on the fence about where I wanted to stay. And then when I checked again, it was taken for one night, and I was like, do I have to switch rooms? Because the only room that was left was like twice as much money.
Okay.
And
Oh, right.
And then we're
yeah, the 1860 room wasn't like the cheap one. It was just like the other one was like some kind of special suite thing.
The suite, right?
Hey.
So I
And
think.
I was like, I don't want to have to switch rooms, like and
Okay.
I have the one room for one night and then go to the bigger suite, need all that, and
Right.
they worked with me and they gave me the room for 2 nights.
So
But
if
they
anyone in
priced it more
the chat hears like a little bit of background noise, that is my son doing his virtual piano lessons.
That's all right. They've been listening to my dog bark. So they're gonna make the movie of your life. What actor is playing you?
Flat.
Ooh.
And
What
is that
actor is
is
playing
on
me?
A. Okay.
Ewan McGregor.
Oh, that's a good one.
I like him. He's solid.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Yeah, somebody asked me one time, it's one of those weird poll things. Like if somebody was going to do the voiceover for the story of your life and it couldn't be Morgan Freeman, who would it be? And I would do Ewan McGregor. Yeah, he's solid.
Okay.
Steven Seagal.
Jack Nicholson, Nathan said.
Yeah.
Actually, he said he'd play you in the movie.
Yes, yeah. Nathan and I are practically twins. Actually, I was with Nathan, Corey, and Charles Schaefer, and I jokingly said to Bob Funk, I feel like the guy who hangs out with ZZ Top because they all have these big, giant beards. And then Bob reminded me that the guy who was in the band ZZ Top who didn't have a beard, his last name was actually Beard. So Bob, if I got that wrong, correct me in the chat, but I did not know that. So
HD Shovelhead. Yeah, Charles is another good guy too.
Charles is a solid guy. I got a box sitting here on my floor next to my desk. It says donations from Charles Schaefer for Come Out Swinging Kids event. And Charles fundraised online, and he's donating a Mind Lab metal detector with a pinpointer and a shovel to the Come Out Swinging event for the Kids Hunt to give away as a prize to one of the kids that show up. It's just awesome.
It's very simple, but it had a nice sound.
Bob said you got it right, and Nathan said he's the drummer.
See that?
If you had to describe yourself as an animal, which one would it be?
Jackalope, for sure.
Yeah, jackalope?
Yeah, mystical.
No, not a chupacabra?
More like a jackass.
I don't think you're a jackass.
Give me time. Give me time, right?
I would say worst case.
All right, to go with that, on a scale of 1 to 10, how funny would you say you are?
Compile it into a file myself.
If you ask my kids, squadouche, even though they laugh at my jokes and they don't want to admit it. I have my moments. I'm like a 7. I'm a solid 7.
Yeah. Nathan said he's a liger.
Okay.
Half tiger, half lion.
I used to be a tie on.
Well, besides me, who is the most intelligent person you know?
So somebody like I actually know, like that's him. That guy right there, like legit, like scary. I kid you not. Like it's freaky how smart that kid is. Yep,
That's a good thing.
that's him for sure. I don't know where he gets it. My dad was smart like that. Like, yeah. So maybe that's where he gets it.
Yeah, my dad was pretty smart too, but he was the
No problem.
professor of the 50-cent word too.
Yes. Yeah. I remember one of the last conversations I had with my dad when he was in the hospital. Out of nowhere, he's in hospice. I'm sitting in the room with him and he hadn't said anything for hours. And no kidding, he looks over at me and he goes, perestroika. And I'm like, what about it? And he's like, we need to talk about that. And I'm like, you want to talk about 1980s Russian? Like, where did that even come from? But that was what was on top of his mind.
Yeah,
So I wasn't as versed in, those things as he was. So we spent some time on Google discussing. Yeah.
That's a good
Glasnost, perestroika, all this stuff like from 80s Russia, which was for some reason, like I said, top of his mind.
What is the one thing you will never do again?
Ooh, one thing I would never do again. Car accidents are no fun. Motorcycle accidents are no fun.
No.
Yeah, those are rough. Well, I can tell you, I haven't had an alcoholic beverage. What year is it? 2022. In 8 years. So that is something I will never do again.
I'm gonna see if I can bring it up on my computer.
That's a good long time. I think it's been about 8 hours now.
I just decided to stop one day and that was it. Done. So
yeah, I know I'm not much of an occasional glass of wine or something like that. If I go out, maybe a margarita, but
okay.
My young days are long past.
Yeah. That helps with the decision making to stop. Like
definitely.
Recovery
When you're young, you're dumb,
We're about to run out of time.
You're right, Madison Maine. I have.
You're good. Is there anything obviously I'll try and look at page 1.
What did you want to be when you were little?
Get a pretty good grasp of page 1 by the next time.
I wanted to be
you wanted to point out to me?
an engineer, not a train driver, like a legit engineer, and I actually went to Penn State for aerospace engineering. Didn't work out that way. But yeah, I always like to build more. And my dad will tell you, more importantly, I like to take things apart.
Okay.
I was really good at taking stuff apart. To this day, I'm good at taking stuff apart, but now I've got the skill set where I can figure out how to put things back together. Like I can figure some stuff out. I got that skill set. I'm a troubleshooter.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it
I'm a troublemaker, so
yeah.
That's probably why we get along at these events.
That seems pretty simple.
Charlie said that's a tough program at Penn State.
It is.
Right,
What's
yeah,
even tougher about it was when I went to college, they sat us all down in an auditorium and said, hey, they're cutting the space program fairly significantly, so only about 10% of you should probably keep this as your major. You got like 500 kids sitting in an auditorium. So,
I wanted
if you're not like 4.0 or better, you should consider going somewhere else.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So
they call them rocket scientists for a reason.
Yeah, they do.
Patty Dishroon said she wanted to be a vet.
Yeah. How awesome is that as a career? Like, if I could do like another late in life, so I'm 50. What is it? 2002. I'm 50. I'll be 51. So I'm halfway there, right? So like in another 25 years, I can do a career change again. Like I'm going to be a vet. Like at 75. Like that's
why not?
Okay. And then
I want to be Dr. Paul, right? That guy on
Yeah.
TV. Like that
Yeah.
dude is so awesome. I'd love to have that job.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, I wanted to since kindergarten, like, when you're little, and I think we had to like draw pictures of what we want to be when we grow up and stuff like that, and made these little booklets and
Okay.
animal doctor all the
Good
way.
deal.
Then in high school, I wasn't the most.
That makes sense.
I didn't do homework. If it was what we did in class that day was redundant, and I didn't do it.
Right.
Oh, I see.
Now they
Yeah,
couldn't
I
fail
love
me
those
because I
classes.
aced all my my tests, my quizzes.
Well, that's a good way of
But I
keeping
just
track
didn't
of
do
it.
homework
I was
unless it
wondering,
was
like, how
to
many people
like
tell
read further
on
on in
this,
history
but
or
that
something,
makes it
or
pretty simple.
outside of that, I didn't do homework. And so you see your guidance counselor,
Yeah,
and
it's all the way. You're right.
he was like, I took my SAT
All right.
and I scored really high on English, and I'm not going to tell you how badly it was in math, but my last 3 years of high school, I didn't even have math. They gave up on me.
You got the math pass.
Okay.
Yeah, in your
All right,
SAT, you
sounds
got
good.
3 schools you can send
I'll
your score to
I'll
for
give it
free.
a couple of
Well,
looks.
I only
I'll
wanted
play a
2
little bit, try and get
schools
that
that
first page
I
under, and
applied
look at the
to.
second and third page.
So the third one, just for the heck of it, I sent it to Princeton.
And I'll see you next week, I guess.
And I remember seeing my guidance
Thanks for
counselor,
meeting
and he
with me.
was
I
like,
think you picked a
"Well,
really good song here.
he's like, being a veterinarian is much more difficult than
I'll
being
see you
a
next week.
medical doctor."
Have a
He's
good
like,
one.
the dropout rate's like 70%. He's like, and my class rank really wasn't low. I was in the top 20%. And he's like, and your GPA and this and that. He's like, I would suggest you be like a housewife or a secretary. I'm like, dude, what is this, 1950?
Yeah, right.
But he's already planted the seed of doubt now. So
Yeah.
I did get accepted at my two colleges I wanted to go to, which was Rutgers and Virginia Wesleyan. But Princeton wrote back and told me, you probably shouldn't go here based on your SATs. I was like, I kind of already figured that. But yeah, I decided to take a year off, and it extended. So
There you go.
now, I mean, I've taken courses, just non-credited courses over the years,
Right.
mostly in like literature or stuff like that. But yeah, up until I was 18, I wanted to be a veterinarian. And then I'm not too disappointed. I got to travel and live in like about 12 different states over the years, doing different types of jobs. And the only way it's going to, adversely affect me is when I'm old enough to retire. I paid my dues for Social Security, but I don't have a pension.
Right.
So, but outside of that, I don't regret it.
Yeah, no, you can't. Like, you can't spend any time regretting. Like, hey, dude, the decisions are made. It's behind me. We got to just live with it and move on. Right? We can't change it. Can't go back.
Nope. Everything.
Even if we had that question
through,
earlier, could we go back? Like, you go back and you change it, and something else could. You can just keep going back and changing it over and over until you get it right. You never get it right. That's part of it. Getting it wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't have the experiences I've had over the past 30 some odd years. Since high school graduation. I mean, like, I was a carny right after I graduated high school. A week later, I joined the carnival.
That sounds pretty awesome.
It was fun. I got the right to ride for free. That's why I did it. I traveled around with them for about 6 or 8 weeks. And all the workers there, they kept telling me I need to go back home. I need to go to college. I'm too smart for that job. And I'm like, well, that life, and I was like, well, it's fun. I want to do it.
Right.
And I did it. Traveled to about 5 or 6 states, and then I came back home, and then I moved, I think, to North Jersey. Then I packed a bag and went to California. Packed a bag and went to upstate New York. Like, no prospects of jobs or anything. I just went.
Right.
Figured it out when I got there. Couldn't do it now. I'm too old for that stuff.
Yeah. Well, you got stories to tell.
Every
time I hear that somebody worked for the carnival, all I can ever think about is the movie The Jerk. It's like it's like a big movie in our house. We watch that and we love that movie.
I love that movie. That movie's funny.
Some of those carny scenes are fantastic.
Yeah.
I get it.
We weren't too far off from the truth. And it was a good time. It was a good experience. And I've done all kinds of things. I was a CNA. I was a groom with racehorses. I mean, just just different things, trying to find my way in the world, when I was in my 20s and stuff. And then I guess when I hit about 40, I decided I needed to grow up and get a career type job. So now I'm at the post office.
That's right. Time to grow up.
Yeah, at some point you got to do that, My brain still doesn't think so, but.
Yep, I'm still waiting for that day.
What is your favorite game or sport to watch and play?
So I've been a coach for 10, 11 years for soccer. So I really like coaching soccer. I used to play a little bit, not really competitive. Played a lot when I was younger. Stopped when I went to high school for a weird reason. Didn't play in college and then started up like afterwards. But he hates those cans. I love that line. I always say I'm famous now because my name's in print anytime I get something with my name on it. That's another line from the movie. But yeah, I like what I like about European soccer, i.e. football, is that it's on real early in the morning. So I can get up early on Saturday and watch a match and then like get my weekend started. And, I still have the whole day ahead of me as opposed to like, watching a game in the middle of the afternoon or something like that. So I like that. Yeah. That's probably one of my favorite sports to watch and to play. I used to play a little bit of hockey. Max was playing lacrosse for a while. That was pretty cool. We learned to appreciate that game for what it was. That was a fast-moving, physical game. Lizzie played that a little bit too. So yeah, I think I'd stick with soccer. It's not America's national pastime.
Yeah, I went to a Red Bulls game.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't done it in the past few years, but I'm still active with the ALS Association, and I usually walk with them every year. But since I hurt my back, it's a little hard, and then my job, it's just. But I'll be back into it next year. But they have a dinner every fall, and they have it at in Montclair, New Jersey, at the I think it's the Yogi Berra Museum or something. I'm trying to remember where it's. Real quick, Patrick, you could share your link. You have a blue wrench. And one year I won tickets to one of the soccer matches. So I went there I'm not a soccer fan. I played it for 4 minutes in grade school, got hit in the head with a ball, but I'm good.
I play, like I said, I coach it, I play it, I ref it. Like it's just, it kind of became a part of my life more later in life than it was earlier in life. So.
It looks like a fun game. I mean, I didn't hate it. I got
smacked a bad rap sometimes. People always see the guys rolling around on the ground, crying like somebody chopped their leg off with a dull axe. So
I will tell you, I mean, I did watch a lot of it, I guess, in the 70s, and Pele was like my hero.
Yeah, that guy was pretty ridiculous.
He was amazing for back then. I mean, they all do it now, but he was doing it when nobody else was doing all those things he did. And so Pele, I was amazed by him. So that's why I played soccer for about 4 or 5 minutes. I played softball, baseball.
There's a good the movie. I think it's on Prime. Pele. The kind of the story of his life. That's pretty good. It's an easy watch. But you get to see like where he came from and how he turned into who he turned out. And he was like a great ambassador for the sport through his entire life. Like some of these other guys like Maradona, like some would argue he's probably the best player ever step on the pitch. But the guy just ruined his image later in life, with making a lot of bad decisions. Pele never did that.
No, he was a pretty good dude. I was looking at the chat, see what's else. You play any other sport or watch any other sport, or is it just?
like, some people don't call it a sport. Like I try to golf. I used to golf regularly, like more regularly when I was younger and didn't have kids. Now my son's kind of getting into it, so I occasionally will go with him. Um, Tennis, I like tennis. Um, because it's like you versus your opponent. It's not like a team sport. Same thing with golf. Like it's you. The mistakes are yours. Nobody else,
Right.
benefits or loses because of a mistake you made. It's all on you. So that reason, the fact that it's an individual sport, I like those two things. I try to walk to golf when I can instead of like riding around a little cart. But some places won't even let you walk. It's weird. You
Yeah. I
think
think
it
there's a
speeds up the
club near
game,
me.
but I don't know. Like I can walk around faster than most people can drive around. So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess they don't want you walking across the green. You're gonna walk across it anyway to get to your ball. So
You come to come out swinging. You climb the hills on some of our properties, and that's a sport. And
it
if you
is.
want, we'll let the bulls out of the pasture, and you can run. So it'll be,
Now, I'll tell you a real fast story about tennis. The house I grew up in Middletown, was almost my little. I lived on a dead end street that was like right across from my high school, and there's a park nearby, and there was tennis courts in the park, and they used to take us, at gym to go over to those tennis courts. It's a town park, and I remember one time, statute of limitations is up now, so we snuck into the school and grabbed some tennis rackets and balls. My brother and I and a couple of friends, and we dunked the balls in lighter fluid,
oh,
lit them on fire, and played flaming tennis
okay, never
until
did
the
that.
until the balls went through the rackets.
So that, yes, yeah, that didn't last too long.
No, not really. Couple back and forth, and then it was it was pretty much done. Went through
Yeah,
the racket,
but you
but we
have that
didn't take the
story.
new good ones. We took the old beat up ones.
Yeah, see, and you have that story to share. Like,
Yeah. Now I wouldn't tell the children of my life. I don't want them to go over to the high school and figure out a way in. But
they'll figure out their own craziness. They
yeah.
don't need our
Back
craziness,
then the janitors didn't lock doors, and
right?
stuff like
Nobody locked doors, right?
that. No. And we took the beat up ones. We weren't that. We were butt heads, but we weren't real butt heads.
You were
And the
buttheads with
tennis
a
balls
conscience.
were ours. So
Well, there you go. And the
yeah,
lighter fluid was yours. So you brought your own
yes,
stuff. Like, let's
yeah.
be honest.
We just didn't have rackets. But it was fun though. Marty said, but it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. It's really cool to hear that ball coming at you lit on fire. It's like
Little fire.
you know,
It's
it
like
sounded
something
like
out of a movie.
yeah, yeah. We all did crazy things when we were kids, but that was probably you talking about playing tennis too. I just brought it up because like I hadn't even thought about that in probably 30 years. But I hope I don't want to keep you too long because we went
It
more
always
like
flies. Like when you're having a good conversation, the time flies. Like I wouldn't, if I didn't have a clock in front of me, I wouldn't even be able to tell you what time it was. Ken
yeah, no,
King said
it's
to me
like
the other night, he said, like it needs to be a conversation. Will you be okay with, being in conversation? I'm like, Ken, you're gonna have to shut me off. Like that's just all there is to it. Like once I get going, like
yeah, I
it's all
missed it.
downhill in a tornado, wind at my back, 300 miles an hour. There's no stopping me.
See, I still call him DK, but
Yeah.
I missed it. I don't even remember why I missed it offhand. But yeah, I still have it set in the speaker so I could play it while I'm at work.
Well,
So
we're so lucky. Like, we talk about technology and all that stuff, but like your channel, like other channels, there's so many options, right? There's only
yeah,
7 nights during the week, and most people are on at night, right? So it's just
yeah,
like, where are we going? And then how many? So I try to like cycle through and rotate. The nice thing is it's recorded, right? So it's there. So you can go back in
yeah,
anytime we want and watch it. And that's what Ken was saying to me. He's like, only a small percentage of people who listen to the podcast listen to it live. He's like, the thousands of people who listen to it are all like the days and weeks afterwards. And
exactly.
he's like, that's where the majority of the people come from. you know.
Believe it or not, people watch, not as many as they do like the videos, when you upload a video, but people do watch the live streams when they missed it, which is
Yeah.
probably good. I mean, in a way too, you could like, fast forward through all the ums and ohs and
Right.
quiet
Yeah.
moments,
Yeah.
but
Well,
yeah.
that's that. It's funny because Ken said to me like he asked a question I didn't really answer it, and I realized that when I got off, and it was like like what kind of like got you into it or got you like my brother-in-law, like he was there, he's like kind of like led me into it, but I just remember like really getting interested in it like 10 years ago, right?
Mhm.
And Chig put that awesome I just found a hoard of silver coins video out, and my brother-in-law sent it to me. He's like, dude, you gotta watch this video, right? And I watched that video, and then you fall down that rabbit hole where you're watching like back then, it was like watch every one of Chig's videos, like what's Chig up to, right? Like couldn't wait for the next video to come out. Now we have like all this, but like I laugh at my kids, like they're watching videos of people playing like video games. I'm like, what are you watching? Oh, I'm watching a video of this guy like play a video game. And I'm like, what are you doing? Watching a video of a guy play? And then I realized, like, dummy, you watch videos of people metal detecting.
I watch videos of people playing video games too. Like if I'm having a hard time in a game, I will watch somebody else play through it.
But yeah, I think like if you look back, and people will argue it's not really a conversation, but in my mind, that 10 years ago, I think it was 10 years ago, like around this time, he posted that video. Like that was a game changer. Like people were messing around with like putting posts online, but that video, that was a game changer. That the whole dynamic, it was like all of a sudden it was like, wait a second, we can do like long format videos of our detecting, not just like, hey, I was detecting and here's my finds. Like that's what they were, right? Kind of leading up to that. Like people would go out detecting and then they'd be like, hey, I found a penny, I found this, I found that. Like it was like kind of like a summary, like a wrap up. But here you got him and he's like, up to his elbows, right? And he's like walking you through the process and talking you through the history. And you're like, oh my God, I just sat here and like watched this long video about this guy finding these coins. And that, in my mind, that was like that people saw that and they were like, we can do this. And then like it just took off.
Yeah. Well, with Aqua Trigger, it's like you're kind of like, it's like he takes you along and he's talking with you and not at you.
Right. Yeah.
And that's
like,
the weird thing is like thing to do.
You watch some of his videos and you like, wait, how much time did he actually spend detecting in this video? That's like it's like a 30-minute long video and there's like 4 minutes of metal detecting. And I'm like, A
lot of his videos are that way, and he's got plenty of them that he doesn't find anything.
Yeah.
But it's like he's taking you on that adventure with him, which is the way I try to I catch myself doing I dug here, I found this, I dug here, I find that.
Like,
it's hard to keep from doing it. But I do try to bring people along with me rather than me talking at you.
Right.
And it's not that easy. It is kind of difficult to keep your mind situated that you want to make them, like you want to talk to my GoPro or my cell phone or whatever camera I'm using as if it's the person watching rather than me telling you about it. You know what I mean?
That's a great approach. I've gone detecting with people who have like recorded components of our hunts. I don't have I'll be like even my wife, we'll be the first ones to admit like we have cameras, right? She's got like a nice Canon camera and a Nikon. Like we have all these. We have an Olympus what the hell is it called? An Olympus Tough something. Like you can like we got this years ago when we first started taking the kids on vacation. You could like take it underwater in the pool and take pictures and do all the shoot video, and it's just the quality is like ridiculous, right? It's a great camera. But part of the reason I bought that was like, there's a mount. I can mount it on the shaft of my metal detector and I can take pictures and record video. And I never once, I took that camera with me like 5 times and never once took one picture or shot 1 second of video. I was just way too wrapped up in the whole process of that. So when I see people doing that, I'm like, you know what? Kudos, because I just forget to hit the shutter button. And it's just like the moment's lost.
Well, that's like me at hunts. Like, I don't think I had very much footage at all from the spring one. I know I had very, very little from my club hunt a couple weeks ago. Like Saturday, I didn't film or take pictures or anything. So Sunday, I was like, I have to take something because I'm supposed to upload. Like I try to upload every Friday, and then I'm part of hashtag I Dig Fridays, and I'd already not uploaded the Friday before because of moving, and I'm hoping I can get out a couple hours tomorrow because I have nothing for this Friday.
Right, right. Well, that's the other thing. Then it becomes like a job for some of these people who are like, I got to get content out this week. So, hey, I was just looking in the chat. Is it Viento Samurai?
Yeah.
Like, I want an underwater camera. It's called the Olympus Tough TG, like Tango Golf TG. I'm telling you, man, the thing is ridiculous. We take it in the ocean. I think ours is a TG5. We've had it for about 10 years, I think. We take it in the ocean. We take it in pools, like freshwater, saltwater. We take it to the beach. Like, I think it's been left in a jacket that went in the wash. Like, the thing is just like ridiculous. It takes a beating, and the pictures, underwater pictures and video are phenomenal. Like, just ridiculous. Like, we did the dolphin thing in SeaWorld where you get to swim with the dolphins, and snorkeling. Yeah. And we had that. It was, the pictures are just insane from that thing. And it's a little bit pricey, but in the camera world, from the perspective of what it can do, worth every penny. So that would be my recommendation. Get that thing. Yeah, and it has a remote. There's a remote, like software you can put on your phone. So we go on vacation, and I would just like set the camera, because you always want to take a family picture, but you don't want to bother people, right? There's an app you can put on your phone, and you can see yourself in the phone app from the camera, and then you just hit the shutter button, and then it starts a countdown, and everybody just poses for the picture. It's fantastic.
Nice. Yeah, I'm still using my GoPro and my phone.
Yeah, and those are designed. Yeah, those are clearly designed, for that. The GoPros are phenomenal technology. We looked at, that at the time, GoPros didn't have viewfinders, I don't think. That was like a big no for us.
Yeah, the earlier
it was kind of like point and pray.
Yeah, I try to mix it up between my phone and my my GoPro, but I definitely want to invest in a little bit better camera than a GoPro. They're great, but I just want something a little bit better because they're still limited in some ways, and like my phone and stuff too.
I always envisioned if I ever wanted to get into this, I would be like Les Stroud. Remember Les Stroud, right? He was like a Survivor man. He'd like walk 4 miles and set up a camera, and then walk back 4 miles, and then walk another 4 miles to that camera to get the shot. And you were just like, oh my God, like, is that what metal detecting is going to become for me? I'm going to be like, I'm going to have a 3-camera shoot like Desi Arnaz or something. Who am I?
It works for.
I get out like once a month. I just want to metal detect.
It works for Brad at Green Mountain Metal Detecting. I mean, I do it sometimes, but I don't walk 4 miles. I walk about 15 feet.
I think Brad has behind the scenes production people that travel with him. I'm just saying.
It's very good.
Like a 9-man crew with a boom mic and everything. You just can't see it. They're off camera.
It's very, very professional, like editing. It's like I told my friend to watch them. She's not into metal detecting, but I was like, you got to watch them. It's like mini movies.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And then like Bo, he's somebody that's for anybody, young, old, male, female. He's real easy to look to. I mean, some people are just easy on the eye, and he's got a good voice.
Right.
And then his style of talking, like I said, it's not talking at you. It's talking to you or with you.
Yeah, he's got it's like a storyteller. Yeah, he does a great job.
Yeah, he does. He's good. Another one that's really good videos is Stories from the Signal. The one I shared earlier, this guy here.
Yeah.
If you haven't already watched any of his videos, watch them. It's a different format than other people. It's pretty cool. It's literally the title of his channel and it's the way he does his videos.
Okay.
So it's not like, oh look, I found this.
He's getting a new sub tonight.
Yeah, definitely check him out. He's an awesome dude too. Flash is awesome, but he mostly live streams Tuesday nights, Flash in your pan.
There
I
he
know
is.
you did, Charlie. I'm jelly because I saw Bo's video on Facebook.
There you
I
go,
know.
Charlie. That's a perfect example. 35 minutes of just chigginess.
Yep. I've hunted with Bo too. He didn't find much, but we didn't have a lot of time that day. Hey, bad
But
idea.
that's the world, right? Like that's the detecting world. Like sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, and you got to go next week, right? Like
like I just moved onto this horse farm. There's probably nothing here. I have no idea. I won't know until I get out there.
You won't know until you get out there.
Yeah, I know there has been old stuff found here, but and I know there's a bottle dump on it, but I want to get past the pastures anyway and go into the woods and see what's back there because I know that has definitely not been touched. And then the township actually owns about 2 or 3 acres off of this, so I can actually go in there too. So as soon as these weeds go away and these,
that's it. You need that winter crush. Get that underbrush gone.
Hey, Dave Rossback. That's a buddy of mine from the town I deliver mail in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, good guy. He just retired. I'm jealous of him too. He could, if he metal detected, he could do it all day.
Yeah, right. Those are the guys. Those guys. But my dad, when he retired, he said he was never busier in his whole life.
Yeah, they find, I guess,
They find like all kinds of stuff to do. I think he painted the inside of his house maybe 4 times. Like starting one room. By the time he got done, he was back to painting the room again.
A different color now.
Yeah.
The past couple of weeks of white walls was fine. Now we need to have blue.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, between him and my mother, they would have mood changes and colors would change.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to about 6 years. Hey, Donald, just be cool. Everybody's coming in, and we're getting ready to wrap up.
Yeah, but we ran long, so it gave him a chance to check in.
Yeah,
check in the chat. If you got any last minute questions, now's the time.
Yeah, if there's anything Rob didn't cover and talking outside of the event, his house was a 1/4 inch smaller on the inside due to the thickness of the paint.
It is completely possible. I kid you not. Those walls were bulletproof.
Yeah.
so many layers of latex. You could have called them rubber rooms. It's like.
You can contact Rob on Facebook, Viento. I know you have Facebook because you messaged me. So you can go to the Come Out Swinging Facebook page.
That's the easiest way to find me because you might not be able to spell my last name.
Yeah.
It's pretty difficult unless it's like somewhere up in the chat. I don't know.
Let me get it. Spell swinging right first.
Yeah, no G on the end, just swinging. We were like, a bunch of young hipsters. We left the G off the end.
All right. So that's the name of the Facebook page, Viento. Let's see if anybody got any questions. Night, Patrick.
If you, Ray, remember the logo for the spring event was the bunny?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I was looking for my shirt. It's still packed, so I couldn't wear it.
So the neighbors were driving by down that road, like driving by the event.
Yeah.
And they saw Come Out Swinging. And I don't know if anybody in the chat has kids that play Fortnite, but there was a character. It was a girl. She had a motorcycle helmet on with bunny ears. So we try to, rotate through some of the logos. I try and get creative when I can. And so we used that kind of a character. And we added a hip pouch and a pinpointer and a metal detector and a shovel, and kind of made her a metal detecting, video game character. And, everybody in the community thought it was great. Like they liked having it, like they wanted mugs and they wanted shirts and they wanted the stickers. But people from the community outside of the metal detecting world didn't know what our event was about. We're driving by and they saw Come Out Swinging and they saw this giant bunny girl. And about a week later, they stopped at the homeowner. They saw her outside and they said, "What was going on here last week?" And she was like, "Oh, it was a historical society. They were having a metal detecting event." And she goes, "Oh, Yeah, because swinging and a girl with bunny ears, like the message just she's like, we thought it was some kind of a weird social event. It's a weird social event for sure. It's a social experiment.
Yeah. Yeah. Wonder where their mind was at that they got that from that.
Yes. Free donuts and coffee at Come Out Swinging. Coffee provided by Moondoggy Coffee and your coffee purveyor, Donna Funk. That's where we get all of our coffee. Moondoggy Coffee is the official coffee sponsor of Come Out Swinging.
I gotta say, good night, Patrick. No detecting this time. I was this upcoming weekend. I have obviously Sunday off, Monday because it's Columbus Day, and then Tuesday, that's my day off. So I actually have a 3-day kind of weekend.
So yeah, it's nice to have a long weekend. We just found out my son, so we figured, Monday will be a day off. So we'll have all day Monday off. And then we found out that his school scheduled a game for them, a travel game, actually an away game. So we have to travel on Monday afternoon to an away game for soccer. So like the afternoon is kind of shot. So not the worst thing in the world. Like I'm not complaining. But yeah, we just kind of thought we'd have all day Monday off, which we don't now. So, but yeah, I always joke and I say I spend more time finding places for other people to detect than I actually spend finding places for myself to detect. Because like if I come across a property, it's like, oh hey, I got 7 acres, and I'm like, 7 acres, I could fit 20. Yeah, I could get 20 Boyertown Relic Recovery Club members on this property. Like, all right, we'll have a club hunt here. Like instead of like just going and detecting, I'm like, okay, we'll schedule a club hunt. And now we have a club hunt there. So I have a couple of really small ones that are like front yard, backyard kind of thing. So yeah, I know you are, Charlie. I mean, you're a testament to sharing space, if anyone ever was. The guy was like, yeah, you can go to this other property I have. And I was like, oh, give me the address. He gives me the address. And he's like, yeah, it's a real old house in the area. It's one of the oldest houses in the area. I drive by and there's literally like a 20-foot wide by 15-foot deep front yard and then 20-foot wide by 45-foot deep backyard. So I was looking at it and I'm like, you got to detect it though, right? You can't not. Yeah. you got it. I detected an open invitation. I mean, the house is from like the 1700s. I'm like, I don't care how small it is. Like, if it's a curb strip, I'm going to do it if somebody tells me I can do it.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. And it's like when people say, oh, that's fill. Then I find out when the fill dirt was brought in.
Right. Where did it come from?
Yeah, and when, because they only started filtering it the last couple few decades.
Right.
So if it was brought in like, 70s, 80s, even probably up into the mid 90s, it wasn't sieved like it is now. Like it's not a fine mesh.
Not a fine, right. Well, even like we did, my father-in-law, they put a retaining wall in his old home, not his more recent home. They had a retaining wall and they ordered a whole bunch of backfill. So the guy with the dump truck came in and, we had to put tarps down in the driveway and they dumped like yards and yards and yards of fill. We were, I don't know, 20 buckets in or barrows in, whatever, before it dawned on us that we should be sweeping this stuff as we're spreading it.
Yeah.
And the three of us looked at each other and we were just like, what's the likelihood that fill from a yard is going to have anything in it? But we were pulling pennies out of it, new, a couple wheat pennies, but they were still pulling pennies out of it. So there's pennies in there. There could be other stuff in there. You know what I mean? So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, we spent, one of us on the detector and the others on the wheelbarrow going through a rotation for a bit. Yeah, that was pretty crazy, wasn't it, Charlie? That house was amazing. And those were great people. That's it. Charlie's, mentioned the first Come Out Swinging. That's 1700. That's where we found there was a Real, a Jersey Copper, a bunch of large cents. At one point, it was 100 people at that event. That's kind of our cap, right? We only got 100. So there was 100 people at that event. we had, just about 100 acres, I think. And at one point, Charlie was a witness to that. You can correct me if you think I'm wrong, Charlie. I think there was maybe 50 people, 50 guys with metal detectors and girls in this backyard of this house. And it was not Connecticut too, yeah. And it was not a big, backyard, maybe 1 or 2 acres. But they were just plucking stuff out of there. Tons of coins, silver. They found these double dragons, like these really ornate dragons, just like laying in the ground next to each other. I went back on Sunday night after we cleaned up the event. That's usually when I get a chance to detect, Sunday after everything's broken down and cleaned up. And Debbie from Mine Lab was there. And she's like, I've never found a colonial era relic, because she always does gold hunting and stuff. Mm-hmm. She's like, I've never found anything colonial. So Drew said, hey, can we take her over to that house? And we went over. We pulled out a silver spoon, a flying eagle, a pocket watch, and what did she find? She either found a knee buckle, I think, like something like that, like something like colonial era, like maybe it was a button. I forget what it was. But even after all those people with all that different technology were swarming that location, that small space, 3 people went back and still found stuff. Like that just, that's what's amazing to me. That's, like we talked about earlier. You got to swing your coil over it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I mean, the only way you're going to definitely clean out something is if you grid it and do the, horizontal, vertical, the diagonal, and literally only move your coil an inch. Yeah. And then do the double sweep. Don't just swing and move up. The swing, come back, and then move up. And even then you may not find everything. So.
Yeah. So I want to answer Charlie's question real quick. So Charlie, this was kind of early in the learning experience for us. So we kind of piecemealed the Lee family, which was the primary property owner, and the Magpie property. We like a lot of people just gave them a bunch of little stuff. We didn't put together like a real nice presentation for them, like we started doing after the fact. But I know when speaking with Jason and Maggie, they were so glad to have that trapper's tag from the original property owner who built that house. They added it to a framed image of him, building that house. So that's now a part of that residence, like that history that got saved. But with the original, Jake Lee, the other property owner, when I said to him, I said, hey, is there ever anything that's been lost on the property that's maybe important to you or to your family that if we come across it, right, we want to return it? And that's a big part of what we do at all of our events, whether it's the club or come out swinging. And he said, yeah, I lost a 3-pound hammer. It's my favorite hammer. If anybody finds that hammer, I'd love to have it back, right? He had no idea where he lost it or left it. It could have been in his barn and he just didn't see it, right? So at the end of the event, we went out and bought a 3-pound hammer, and we made a special presentation of a brand new 3-pound hammer to him, along with some other stuff, for saying thank you for letting us be on his property. But yeah, that was a learning experience for us there, Charlie. We just kind of piecemealed, like a couple guys who found some stuff, found some large cents and stuff. We're giving them to the property owners. And with Jake and Gretchen, we were just kind of like, hey, this is all the stuff. We had it all lined up on the table. This is all the stuff that we found. If there's anything here that you want, please feel free to take it. We didn't really think to like put together something official and kind of present it back to them. And then everybody left and kind of went on their way. And, it's kind of hard to get that stuff back once it's gone.
Oh, yeah.
But we learned from that. We're better now.
Well, everything's a learning experience. That's why each event keeps getting better.
Yeah. And there's like, I saw Andy in the chat earlier, Snell. Yeah. So Andy gave me great feedback last year. Traditionally Saturday, everybody's there. And then on Sunday, it just kind of tapers off. Like some people don't, stay for both days. Some people don't stay overnight for Friday and Saturday. And then, the attendance on Sunday morning is generally lower, and that's when we have our seated hunt. So that was our 4th event. The experience dictated, hey, we usually have about half the people here. There's usually about 50 people. So we planned for 50 people for the seated hunt. We put like 125 silver targets in the ground and some prize tokens and stuff. Well, almost everybody came back, despite the fact that it was cold and rainy on Sunday morning. Like we were like, it's cold and rainy, nobody's coming back. Like, and everybody came back, and we were like, oh, okay, we misjudged this, right? So we learned from our experience. And Andy was like, Rob, the seated hunt area was way too small. Like, it was an honest evaluation. Am I going to be mad about that? No. Like, I can't make my events better if people aren't going to be honest with me. And, you don't have to be rude about it, but you can be like, and he wasn't. He just said, like, you needed that area to be bigger. Like, and people have come up to me and they're like, the kids coin hunt is awesome, but it needs to be bigger. Like, okay, so it'll be bigger. Seated hunt will be bigger, right? Like, we figured out how to streamline, the raffles. Like, now I had somebody call me from another event. They're like, somebody told me to call you about how you do your raffles. And I'm like, oh, everybody gets a number, not a name. Like, when you sign in, you get a wristband and it's got a number on it. That's your number for the event. So when you're doing your raffle tickets, just write your number. Like, we've got all your contact information. Just make sure you write, number 28. That's all you need to know. And, you can go and do your thing. So I just everybody liked that. It sped everything up. It was, it was good.
My only thing was I'm not entirely sure everybody that did Brass in the Grass donated.
Yeah, they don't always. We can't force them to. It's an ask. It's not a requirement. We'd ask for a donation of $2. We guarantee, whatever prize you get is going to be worth at least, your donation. And the way that works is effectively, we've got a lot of great people in the community who will donate stuff to us. Here's 4, seeded quarters. And it's like, oh, great. I can put those in Brass in the Grass, right? Somebody's going to get, and the value of that, whatever, if you just went by the silver, right? Silver, I think is, 22 times on quarters, like face amount, right? So it's worth a couple bucks, right? So you're getting your money back, for sure. Right. And you're making a donation to the,
I was surprised that nobody was like, I'm not going to say surprised. Like, I was expecting somebody to be dishonest, but I was pleasantly, I was happy with the fact that most people just plucked 1 or 2.
Right. Right.
Because they could have easily wiped out that whole little area.
They could. Yeah. And then, some of the people some of the sponsors and stuff, like, that's a part of their sponsorship package, right? So when they check in, they're supposed to be told, like, oh, hey, don't forget, you've got, 3 Brass in the Grass, things that you can use yourself or you can give away to somebody else. A lot of people just give them away. Like, they were giving them away to the kids that came to the kids coin hunt. They would do the kids coin hunt, and then they would be like, oh, hey, here's a Brass in the Grass thing. And then they go next door and do Brass in the Grass, and then they go down and get their Brass in the Grass prize. So, it's just another way to, bring some other, things to the event that everybody can do. So we get people to show up.
I had my little buddy in there, Gabe.
Right.
Looking with me for the last Brass token, and we couldn't find it. That's why I took him. It had quieted down in the kids area, so that's why I took him over to the kids area, and he found one of the special painted quarters.
Right.
So he was very excited about that. I think it was gold-plated coins or something.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
he had been complaining.
So
he was like, I need to find gold at this event. That's all he kept saying to me. I need to find gold. I need to find gold.
Yeah, as soon as I saw there wasn't any like kids in the kid area, I took him over there because I knew there would still be some signals in there and stuff. And
he
found that.
We didn't plant, like, we put a lot of coins in the kids coin hunt. I don't really put any big silver in there. Like, I put some mercury dimes and stuff like that in there, but I've never put any big silver. And I'm the one that usually seeds it. I seed everything. I'm the one that handles all that. So no one can ever say, like, oh, that guy did this or this person did that, and they knew where this was. I'm the one that handles all that. There was a kid in the spring that dug a Liberty quarter, and I know I didn't put it in the ground. So I don't know if it was a natural target or not. We've had people find at this fall event in 2021, people were finding Jefferson $50 in the Brass in the Grass section. And they were like, did you plant these in Brass in the Grass? I'm like, no, like 5 people, I think, found like $50. Well, here I asked the property owner, and he was like, oh yeah, we used to have a snack stand here and everything was like 50 cents. Sodas was 50 cents. Hot dogs were 50 cents. So they would just keep 50-cent pieces on hand for making change. So everybody who went to that Bible camp was carrying around 50-cent pieces. So like people were finding 50-cent pieces all over the place.
That's cool.
And they were asking us, like, did you put these? I'm like, we didn't do it. Like, it wasn't us. We don't plant targets. That's not what a natural hunt's about.
Exactly.
All
I
right,
guess
Ray.
we
You
should
got
probably
anything
wrap
else
this
for me?
up. No, I think I asked enough questions so everybody gets to know the Robert behind Come Out Swinging.
I'm going to make a concerted effort. You know, people hold me to that. Stop by, say hi. Even if I'm running, grab me, say hi, make sure that I say hi. Like, you know, I'm a talker. That's my problem. My wife tells me, like, don't stop and talk because you'll never stop talking. And, you know, I got stuff to do. So, but yeah, you come to the event, come say hi to me, you know, introduce yourself, make sure you have a good time, you know, and you know, I'm going to make, like I said, a concerted effort to be more available to people like you, right? Who made yourself available to me, but you know, you were like, you were always going, man, like a bee. Like that's kind
Yeah.
of my thing. Like I watch TV
I
standing
took
up.
my
So
moments.
I don't sit still for long.
I'm hoping to spend a little time with Charlie Hurley this time. I only got to see him briefly last hunt too.
You got he's like a celebrity. Like he
I
rolls
know.
in. You know, he's like he got like an entourage. He's got handlers. You know, you got to like.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody again. You
He's the
know,
godfather of detecting.
I'm looking forward to seeing Charles and yourself, Nathan, my little buddy Gabe, as long as he's coming again.
Gabe will be there for sure. Yep.
Yeah, that's my little buddy. And I mean, I don't want to name everybody because I'll leave somebody out, but
Right.
just
I hear
everybody.
you.
And obviously Drew. I see Donna and Bob all the time, so
Yeah, good people. There's
Yeah, they
so
are.
many good people that show up. It's so awesome. Like a lot of people have said about the event, it's not about the detecting or the finds. It's about the metal detecting community that comes together. We appreciate it because they're supporting our nonprofit. But more importantly, there's friendships that I believe are being made that will last people a lifetime.
Oh yeah,
And they're like I see these people, they come together and then it's like, you should come to my home state and stay with me and detect, and I'll come to your home state, stay with you and detect, right?
Yeah.
And you know, Charlie's big. He does that a lot with people, but I see more and more people mirroring that, like doing that, like extending that invitation across state lines to people to detect together. And I like to think that our event helps bring some of those people together.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because to me it's like, I mean, the fines and the prizes and all that stuff. That's just like that's nice. Like I said, I don't find very much because I'm too busy doing all this. But it's about spending time with people I don't get to see very often.
Yeah.
Or haven't met in person.
And how lucky are we, right? We get to spend time with people that we like, doing something that we like, in an environment that we like. It's like the trifecta. It's like
Exactly.
perfect. Yeah.
And we're all like-minded people.
That's it.
We all
We
like
don't have to get along every day. We don't have to agree
Yeah.
on everything, but we
Nope.
all know we like metal detecting.
Yes. Any form of treasure seeking. But thanks for joining tonight. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, well, I had a lot of fun. And thank you everybody that stayed throughout the whole duration. I know some of you did. Thank you for coming in and joining those who came later. And thanks to the people who came in early and left a little while ago. You guys, every one of you rock, and I appreciate every one of you supporting me. And for some reason, strange reason, finding it interesting to watch me talk. And but tonight, at least, it wasn't just me. I had Robert, and I'm sure he was much more interesting to find out about. But Shane Godfrey from Utah is going. That's cool.
Yeah, Shane gets the. I think we had a guy from Texas that came to the first one too, and we were trying to figure out like how do we recognize, like we were thinking like, should we have a furthest traveler award? That's been something that we've kicked around. Like who came the furthest to come out swinging?
Can I fly to
Consistently, it's been
California
Shane.
and then come back?
It's definitely been Shane consistently, and we love having him there.
Well, it's a nice area to go to. I mean, even if you weren't going to an event, it's a beautiful area. But again, thank you all. Thank you, Robert, for being an awesome guest. Thank you for actually accepting my invitation to come up and chat with me almost last minute. But, sometimes I'm still really unpacking. So
Quite all
I
right.
realized, I was like, wait a minute, it's Tuesday. I got
Got
to
work
do
to
something
do.
Wednesday. Because I was off Sunday, Monday. So it just like it messes up my brain sometimes. And then the rain, 5 days of it. So,
yeah. So, hey, last thing for me, we will see you at Come Out Swinging, and thank you for your continued support. It's much appreciated.
Oh, yeah. Is that to me or to the chat?
That is to you, young lady.
Hey, I like to support everybody. I mean, if I could support every single event, I would, but I got to stick with the ones that are, like closer to me.
I hear you. It's not easy.
Yeah, no. And it's an awesome event, and I'm very glad I found you guys. That's rocks. So just hang out 1 second when I end the broadcast, and we'll say goodbye off camera. All right. So thank you guys. I will see you next Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. I'm kind of stick to that time because, like I said, Iron Lantern Adventures actually started streaming 6 p.m. Central, which is 7 here, and this way I can visit him ahead of starting my show. So I will see you guys next week. Thank you. Peace.
Good night, everybody.